Hey everyone, Dan the Card Man back again. So I shot this video a little bit earlier, but then had another stuff up, so second time's a charm. So as you can see by the video title, I'm finally getting around to talking you through how to actually submit with Card Grading Australia. It's a pretty simple process. Just before we get started, I'll quickly show you the cards that I'll be submitting today. There'll be 28 of them in total. So on top here, it's a bit hard to tell with the lighting, just so I can get things working. The card refractors are not showing up that well. If I get the lights working for these, I'll get washed out, but I'll show you these later. So these are some of the nice cards from the holochrome set. So if you recall, the holochrome set is the one with the rainbow refractor in the background. So you can see some cards here that I'm submitting purely to resell. I might keep one or two of these. Like I think I might keep that one if it comes back a good grade, and then one or two others as well. And then the next batch of cards is going to be a Slifer and Obelisk from the recently released God decks. So basically these will just be to resell. Most of this is essentially to be resold. And then we've got another stack here of Dragon Ball Z cards. So these are from the chromium ones, so the one without the rainbow refractor. And again, purely to resell. As you can see, they've got Bulma. That's one they have Goku when he wrecked Nappa. And then, yeah, basically just thought I'd get a few of these graded just to resell. And then some cards for the PC. So if you recall, my first submission with CGA, I got this back. It was an 8. I want to try and get them at least 9s. I know my Freezer is also an 8.5, but this Goku looks a bit better. So I'm just going to have a second crack at trying to get a better one, and then I'll sell the duplicate. And then these are basically the rest of the inserts from that set. The lighting is really hard on these because the refractor is crazy. These are my favorite cards. As you recall, these are from Dragon Ball Z Series 2. They also come in a gold variant, but the gold variant is obviously much harder to find, and then also it's even harder to get in a good condition. So put the cards aside, actually. Now if we just step to their website, as in CGA's website. So you can see here, if you go to the main page, basically a bit about them. You can read about it, about us. They explain what card grading is, what their services are. I can quickly tell you what they do. They do this really cool thing with written reports. They've stopped these for the time being, but basically they don't do subgrades, right? So what this is the grader's step-by-step review of your card, and it will show you basically where you've lost your points. So it's subgrades to another level. It'll show you every single corner, what they graded it out of 100, or their 10-point scale, and then you can see basically where the faults in your card, where your card were. So if you want to submit a card, you come to this page, and they basically have all these different tiers. So I don't need these cards back urgently, so things like this are out of the question for me. I'm going to stick with economy, and because I'm submitting like 28 or 29 cards, I'll be using this option. It's $13.75 a card, pretty cheap. Bulk is even cheaper, but you have to submit a minimum of 100. They also do roll encapsulation, which means they put your card in a slab, but they don't grade it, which is pretty cool. And then you can also get cards re-encapsulated, and that's for cards that have damaged cases, or if you want to transfer to the new standard. They used to use a 100-point scale, now they use 10 like most of the other graders with half points in between. Yeah, so once you figure out which one you want to do, you just go through there, click on it, and it'll take you to a page. You need to put in your personal information. I won't show you that page now, just because it pre-populates with my data, but basically put your name, your address, your email, and then from there you click next, and it takes you to a page like this. So I've already gone through and added in my cards. It's a bit tedious. I started doing it in the first video, but then it stopped working. So basically what you want to do is you put the card maker in for the first card, and the one tip I want to say is, if I go back to the cards, the order you put them in on the website needs to be the same order that you're going to pack your cards in. So as they're taking it out to make sure that your cards have come through, they'll tick them off one by one. And it's good for two reasons. One, as you can see here, this card on top is the holochrome edition. So if you're submitting cards in multiple sets, like basketball, for example, you might have different tiers of prisms or different Pokemon cards that have like full art. They might not be sure what they are on face value if they're all scattered. Whereas if you enter it the order they came in, because you can see I'm sending in the holochrome card, and then down here you'll see the same card, but in the chromium set, I don't want them to mix it up. They don't want to mix it up either. So if you basically input them into the list, the same order you're going to pack them in, then it just makes everyone's lives much easier. So if we go back to that, you come through here, you, like I said, enter in the price of the card, the name. They'll check all this stuff anyway once they go to grade it, so you don't need to worry if it's let me just fix the camera quickly. You don't need to worry if it's going to, if you typo or anything like that. Like I've got one here. Whoops. I basically said obelisk instead of obelisk. So they'll fix all that when they go through. The card number, just so they can know which one it is. The estimated value, I'm putting all these at 25 bucks. Some are more, some are less. And then the number of quantities of that copy of the card. So you can see there, I've got two of these ones. They're the Vegetas, and then two of these Bulmas, and then two of these Gokus down here. And then it works out the cost. So you can see there, total of $400. A lot of money, but hopefully I can make it back through sales. The cool thing is that these guys do is that you don't have to pay until the cards are ready to be shipped, which is pretty cool. Unlike PSA, SGC, all those, you have to pay money up front and then you're stuck waiting months for your cards, and then you're out of pocket a lot of money as well. So once that's done, you click agree and then you press submit. And then what will happen is you should get a confirmation in about 5-10 minutes, sometimes quicker. You'll get an email, and that email contains like your submission form. And what you need to do is you need to print that and then pack it with your cards. So I'm going to pause the video here, wait for that to come through, print it, and then show you basically how to actually pack the cards. So give me a sec. You're going to see it instantly. I'll see you in a minute. I'm back. Just give me 1 second. Okay, so basically you print it off, or you submit the form, they send you an email with basically the same information that you just submitted. Let me just quickly go to it because it's got some personal information in here, so I don't want you guys to see that. But you can see there, it's the same information as what you enter on the website. The reason why I printed it in red is because I got my printer ran out of ink, so I needed to print it in something. So I just stapled that and then folded it up, and basically it gives you instructions on what you need to do. So it says, thank you, blah, blah, blah. This is where you send it. So you need to send to that PO box. There you go. Need all information so they know who to send it to. It gives you payment details. Like I said, you don't need to pay until they send you the invoice, which will be about 1 week before the cards are due. So they won't send them back to you until you pay. But the good thing is you don't need to pay up front. So what the method is, you take your graded cards. What a lot of people do is they'll get two pieces of cardboard, put on either side, put some rubber bands on to stop the cards from sliding around, and then stick this on top. Because as I mentioned, you need to put this in with the package. But for me, because there's so many cards here, I'm not super comfortable about putting them just with a piece of cardboard and then rubber bands. So what the plan is, I'll bubble wrap these. I don't need to show you how to do that because everyone knows how to bubble wrap, right? You'll bubble wrap them, put some cardboard around it so the cards don't get squished. I'm going to ship these in a box, and then basically just tape that to it around it like so, and then mail it off. I'm just going to send it via registered post, pretty cheap, and then yeah, you're good to go. So like I said, the process is pretty easy. Like you don't need to do too much. Take your cards, package them, and then just fill out the website, and then you're good to go. They're pretty good. I think they're a bit behind at the moment. So before COVID, they were pumping things out ahead of schedule. Like you get the 30 weeks, oh sorry, the 30 weeks. You get the 30 business day cards back in like 20 at the earliest. So, not that earliest, sometimes quicker, but like pretty much on average. But now they're about 2 weeks behind. So I'm not expecting these back until probably either just before Christmas or where are we now? The 22nd of November. No, I'll probably get them back early New Year or even later, depending on how long or how early they close down during the holiday period. So like I said, they're the ones to go with if you're in Australia. You'll see when they arrive back. I'll do a video on the unboxing. We'll see how we did. Hopefully we get some 10s. There's a few other graders, but they've shut down as well just because they're not, or they're overwhelmed. Their fees are higher, which is strange because you're paying more for graded cards that are new to the industry, right? Like you don't know how these hold up. You don't know how these graders actually, or how well they do their job. Whereas card grading Australia have been around for a long time. They have the value, they have the integrity. I think they're the safe bets for the time being. So like I said, if you're interested in any of these cards, let me know, hit me up on socials. Happy to work out a deal for you. Or if you're interested in trying to source any other Dragon Ball Z cards, I'm happy to help you out as well. Like I said, hopefully we'll get some good grades. In terms of upcoming videos, so I mentioned, depending on when this is going to come out, where this comes out before the review of the safe case, the storage box, I'll be heading to Oz Comic Con in Sydney on the weekend of the 3rd of December. So I'll be there, hopefully trying to source some cards, trying to flip some cards if I can. I'll do a convention vlog. And then in terms of other videos coming up, I'm going to try and do a similar video to what I've just done, but for HGA, for SGC, because they're probably a bit more relevant for Aussies. Like, card grading Australia is pretty straightforward, but a lot of people ask me questions on how to actually submit overseas. And the main question comes from shipping, postage. Like, I think their portals are pretty straightforward, but I figured out a way to send cards pretty cheaply and very fast. And it's not that special, to be honest. I'm sure you can figure it out yourself, but just thought I'd give my views on that. And then I'll probably do, I'm not sure, like if you guys have seen my Instagram page, I did a few posts, maybe for about a month. I did 5 or 6. And I called them my Tuesday Trends, where I basically talk through some key points that were happening within the hobby and gave my thoughts on those and things like that. And I'm probably going to, I didn't get a lot of traction, but I think some of the talking points are really interesting. So the plan is basically turn those into videos. So yeah, the plan is to do that and then sort out this lighting. It's really annoying me, guys. Like, you can't see the awesomeness of this card. Like, if I pause the video 1 sec, let me pause it and I'll show you how cool it looks under natural light. Well, not natural light, but actual bright lights. 1 second. All right, I'm back. So my face is washed out, but now you can see these cards a little bit better, right? And if I just pop this up, you'll see the camera show up there. Apologies. But you'll see now that rainbow refractor that I was talking about earlier that you couldn't really see. But how cool it looks, especially on some of these cards. On this Go Home card, I think it looks the best. Like, this card is crack just with that rain. But yeah, that's it, guys. Gonna send this off. Hopefully we get some pristine 10s. So thank you for watching. If it helped, please like, subscribe. If you have any other questions on how to submit with CGA, please let me know. I'm happy to answer them. I've done it a few times now. Thank you. As always, see you in the next video.